Evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all in between. Jason, my brother, how you doing?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Another day. You're enjoying your vacation
Absolutely, yeah.
after 75,000 years of working straight.
Yeah, it seems like that. I think I could get used to this. I want to live the rest of my life this way.
Hey, why not? You do you, buddy.
That's right.
So let's bring on Mr. Metalhead Fred. Fred, what's going on, buddy?
Toast, my brothers. How are you this evening?
Good. And Metalhead Fred Bonanno writes reviews over at metal-temple.com, so go check those out.
Check it out. Temple, they are under construction right now, so if you do go on, check it out. It'll be won't be up for another week or so, but check it out anyway.
For those of you who don't know, Fred has joined us about 3 months ago, and he's the adult in the room.
I've never ever been called that. Wow.
It ain't me.
First for everything.
Right? I didn't grow up. I just got older.
Growing up's overrated.
Absolutely. So tell us who we got today there, Mr. Bonanno.
Well, we've got a band called reaLation. I'll probably pronounce that wrong. reaLation. I saw these guys, three of them. It's a three-man band. They were opening about 2 weeks ago at the Arcada Theater in St. Charles, Illinois, for Glenn Hughes and Yngwie Malmsteen. And they came on stage and immediately loved everything I heard, and they really rock. Both they got two singers, which I love in a band. Yeah. Absolutely love in a band. And so in between sets or in between acts, I went out and talked to them, and they are cool guys. And I got the CD, five-song EP called What Lies Beneath. And these guys are deep songwriters, man. They got some deep songs. And so I told Vince and Jason, I said, you should get these guys on, man. They're cool. They're from Albany, New York. Oh. So if you're ready to let them out, bring them on.
Yeah, Jason's from the Pig Skills.
Yeah, I'm from a couple hours from Albany, but yeah.
All right.
Not too far.
You could talk
I've been
about
calling
that.
the Pig Skills since we're in college, so let's get on the guys. So we have Steve Feliciano on guitar, Vincent Lane on vocals and bass, and Matt Laux, I hope I didn't mispronounce your name, Matt, on drums. So let's bring everybody in. What's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going on?
What's that?
Good. Not a shabby opening spot. I'm opening up for who? Yeah. Would that take you guys like a half a second to say yes to that, or what?
We had to grab that opportunity the second we had it.
Yeah, no question. It was actually great for Steve because it was somebody that really he emulated growing up. Which was
I'm the fan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You and me both, brother. How'd you guys land that gig? How'd that happen?
We actually work with a great company by the name of Pavement. They represent us in certain facets, and these are opportunities that they were able to bring to us. So it was really cool. And then obviously they promote us and say, hey, this act would be a good fit for the show. And then the Yngwie and Glenn Hughes camps have to sign off on it. So that we were well received. They were great. Every camp there, everybody that we were involved with were top notch, and we've been happier about the reception and just working with those two crews.
Awesome. How many shows did you guys do with them?
We just did the one. We're hoping that we can connect with them again. We feel it's a good synergy between our products. So we were happy to get the opportunity. And both the camps, including Glenn and Yngwie themselves, were very complimentary to us. So we're hoping that we can connect with them. They're still wandering around playing shows, so there's always the opportunity to do that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had a chance to meet Glenn before the show, and he's a hell of a nice guy. I'm assuming you guys talked to him and met him. Hell of a nice guy. I didn't get to meet Yngwie. Did you get to meet Yngwie and chit chat with him?
Well, there's a funny story about that. So I'm going to say that because I I only remembered Yngwie from pictures, so I didn't know what he looked like currently. And we were wandering around backstage, and sure enough, I came in contact with him. I'm like, hey, and he could tell I had no recognition in my eyes of who he was, So I don't know. He was just like, how you know, and I was like, could that be him? And I'm trying to correlate it, but it was just he must have been like this bastard's on my show and doesn't know who I am. One of those things. And then at the end of the show, I was like, and we saw him on stage. I'm like, oh, that was him. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's kind of funny. And it was a definitely interesting situation. But yeah, no, I mean, Glenn himself, he definitely was very complimentary to us. And everybody I've ever talked to about him, he's a definite sweetheart. He's a very, very cool guy.
Legend.
Very easy to talk to and
English
very
gentleman.
grounded,
Yeah, he just started recording his solo album, or will be next week, I believe. But I think that's what I read.
Yeah, they hit the road hard. I mean, they were out for several months. I think they're on the West Coast now. I believe, is that right, Steve?
I think so. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but
Yeah. And what was really strange about Glenn is like he was around and then he wasn't.
Yeah,
he had all
came back, dude, and everyone was like, "Yes!"
Bro, blew everybody's mind on that show.
Oh, he's amazing,
impeccable performance. That guy still got it, man. Like it's crazy. Like his vocal range still to this day. Like I was there, literally front and center, and my ears were about to just go.
Yeah,
it was just like unbelievable.
Because he's got to be 70 something.
For 72, and he sounded amazing.
Unbelievable.
He sounded
That's
amazing.
Just great for all of us. That he's still well on that level,
gives us hope.
Great bass player, great front man. Vocalist. I mean, he's got, who wouldn't want to play with him,
No, and that room sounds, and Fred can tell you, the room sounds great. I mean, one of the best theaters. I mean, it's got a big sound and a small feel almost, which is like the best spot.
Shout out to the Arcada, man. They have amazing staff too. They were super accommodating, super nice, helped the setup and everything, bro. And it's when you're playing smaller venues and stuff like that, it's seldom that you get that kind of, you know what I mean, that kind of reception or that kind of work ethic when you're performing at a venue like that's that upper scale.
Yeah.
And you got staff like it was just new to me. Like we had like a lot of good help, which was amazing.
Yeah, Ron Anesti definitely knows what he's doing. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's keeping live music alive in the suburbs. And it's a great venue, and he'll have Last in Line there the other night, and then the next night he'll have Paul Anka, and then he'll have something for the kids, and then he'll have Gino Vanelli, and then he's got a little bit of everything, which is great though. But he keeps the hard rock and metal going.
Well, it was interesting, and Steve, maybe you can tell the story. We had a little bit of an issue at that show because we use wireless in-ears for the click because we're working to backtrack and video and such. And why don't you tell them a little bit about what happened with this, because we didn't even take this into consideration.
I'm going to open with this. After that show, I'm convinced that anything that you speak into existence constantly will happen. And that sounds good right now, but it happened for the worst because I wasn't worried. I mean, I grew up wanting to be this guy, man. Opening for Yngwie Malmsteen, like almost like every aspiring young guitar player, they want to be that guy, right?
Right.
So here I am, and weeks leading up to the show, I wasn't concerned about our performance, if we were going to be tight, none of that. We were really well rehearsed, but I was worried about what if there's like some technical issue or something like that. And I always brought that up every time we got together. Like, what if something happens? Like, are we ready to have a plan B? Like, oh my fucking God, what are we going to do? 7:25, we're walking towards the stage. Our intro track is playing in the background, and we can't hear shit on our in-ear monitors. And I'm already panicking. Like, oh, this is going to go south real quick. So we're walking towards the stage. Me and Vince can't hear shit. Matt can't hear shit until he sits. And then he's like, I can hear it. And I'm like, you can? And I'm like, yeah, I can hear everything. And I'm like, well, you're just going to have to count us in for this one, bro. So we coasted through that whole set with flawless, man. Like, hands down, our best performance yet. Like, the energy was there. We were in sync. Matt literally carried that whole show. And I've told him this 100 times, bro, you fucking saved this whole fucking show, bro.
Really
Played a
bad.
little
It could've
better
gotten
when your
really south.
speakers were all constricted, right?
Yeah, because in our shows, what we do is because we have so many like tunings for certain songs, we switch guitars. So in the
Right.
middle of switching guitars, there'll be like an interlude playing in the background, some kind of instrumental orchestration that gives us time to switch to our instruments. So before the next song comes in, we hear a 4-click count, and that's all we hear on our headphones. It's just a click and a little bit of the backing track.
Yeah.
So we get a 4 count before the next song hits, and we didn't have that at that show. We had Matt to count us in. So
Mhm.
it was definitely stressful at first, but then everything just started coming together. We pulled through. We gave each other the biggest fucking hug, bro. After
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, we fear nothing at this point because if it's there at that point, then we're golden.
yeah, we were prepared at least.
Yeah, but we realized too afterwards is like there's so much in terms of every guitar and bass in that place had a wireless unit on it, so there was just a ton of interference.
yeah,
Sure.
Luckily,
Yeah.
Matt was the one that actually had in ear as the drummer,
Yeah.
and you know, out of the three of us, he needs to have it. So we were, but now we know we're just gonna go with like channel 34.
It's some stupid little logistical thing that happens.
It
in the
always
equipment.
is. It's the littlest
You know,
thing that. Yeah.
and I was going crazy. I thought I didn't charge the fucking wireless units. I was panicking. I'm like, well, it is charged. Otherwise, it wouldn't be blinking. What's
Yeah.
going on?
And we played the next night, nothing.
And then
no issue at all.
And then I'm looking at all these guitars. I'm looking at Invade's guitars, and every guitar has a wireless unit. I'm like, it could very just well be wireless interference.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because our shit was working just fine the next night that we played.
Yeah.
up in-
Played in Youngstown, Ohio. I think,
yeah,
right?
and everything was working flawlessly. So
Yeah, the bandwidths aren't that big, right? So it's like, depending on what they were set at and you guys were set at, it was just,
Right. Yeah. But it
Should have
worked
just
out.
borrowed. You should have just borrowed one of Ingvy's wall of Marshalls. And that whole back wall was Marshalls,
Dude,
right?
oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we couldn't run the video because the wall of
the thing is, like, it's kind of surreal. Like, out of all of us, like, for me, it was the most surreal because, like, I grew up looking at that wall of Marshalls for years on videos and stuff, and I'm just there, and I'm just staring at it.
I saw him for the first time in 1985 on the Marching Out tour, man. That was
Jeez,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and
Still
Jason,
got it, man.
Me and Jason, just so you guys know, me and Jason met in college. We went to become audio engineers. I wound up in television and film. Jason became an engineer, recorded a little ditty called "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston, Black Sabbath. I work at Guns N' Roses and Rolling Stones and Pink Floyd and Neil Diamond, all blah blah blah. So that's where we come from. And Fred, Metalhead Fred here is a music critic and loves your work. So our podcast is a little different. We're not just like like we want to hear.
Tell me about the name. And we get those.
Yeah.
A lot.
So it's reaLation, right? Because it's emphasis on the L.
Yeah, it's really reaLation, and the reason why that name came into, and we've had discussions about this. We kind of kept it. We thought as we grew, maybe we lose the A, but it's kind of about. We talk about a lot of real concepts. We try to be as authentic as we can be with our audience. As you had said that you said, Fred, that it's a lot of deep stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of there's a lot of psychological concepts in there. There's a lot of like trauma stuff and how to like circumvent it and recognize it. And we just kind of think about it in terms of are we going to be as authentic as we possibly can be? Honestly, I'm about as authentic as I am as a person in this project. Writing these songs because it's these are things that are hard to kind of
if you're faking it, people know
you got to be that way.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, it's interesting too, because we talk a lot about addiction and we've had our issues with that, but it's funny because we've got any gruff we've ever had about anything we've written has been from the recovered addicts, which is interesting to me because they're like, you can't possibly know the extent of my addiction. And it's like, that's like the pinnacle addict remark, the egotistical addict remark.
Yeah,
like,
narcissism 101.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, yes, we've had our issues with stuff. We do. We've, growing every day and trying to get through it. So that's a lot about what we write about.
A lot of people, I mean, you can be talented, you can have great songs, but if you're not honest with your audience, nothing works.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
We've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen it with artists that are successful and they go and they do a different venture and you can see their heart's not in it and it's not received. You know.
Well, I mean, you're going to have those guys that maybe bust your balls or whatever, but just as many of those as you have, you're going to have ones that are going to hear you and you're going to help them.
Yeah, and we've had that too, and that's been
Yeah.
and that's what we do it for is the people who actually come and say, hey, we have a song Isabella. People are like, I had an Isabella in my life, or I am the Isabella.
Yeah.
So that's one of the greatest compliments as a song.
Yeah, like what I picked up from that one, I asked Fred, I'm like, do they deal a lot with PTSD?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because
I have no question.
our podcast was started because my brother
Yeah.
committed suicide 3 years ago. So our whole thing is men's mental health through comedy and music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've lost multiple friends to suicide as well, and I mean it's
Yeah,
near
so
and dear to our
Yeah.
hearts. So
So when
Yeah,
I
and
saw it, I
guys,
was right on,
It's just not talked about enough, and
Right.
men aren't supported in this enough, and
Oh, for
and
sure.
the abuse that's involved in relationships that men deal with that are
Yep.
subversive, that people don't really
Right.
talk about. I mean, we kind of want to bring these things to light because
absolutely.
it's just
Like some
been an
people
issue.
think like when their girlfriend hits them, it's funny. No, that's assault.
No, yeah, I had a friend of mine who was one of the sweetest people I've ever
Oh
met.
shit.
Well, yeah, I've ever met, and his girlfriend broke her hand on his head.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, that's fucked. And I was like, bro, you're a better man than me because she still has teeth in her head. But I'm seriously though, the serious part of that is like nothing happened. I mean, she walked around with a cast and like nothing happened. And
Well, she's probably been doing it for years too. That's the sad thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we know of because she broke her hand on his head.
Right.
Yeah.
But God knows the 30 times before that she smacked him or scratched him or did other.
Right. Like my buddy's friend or my buddy's girlfriend assaulted him, then broke 32 of his windows in his house, and the cops arrested him because she fell back. He closed the door, and she was on high heels, and she was unsteady, and she scratched her arm on a bush.
Yup.
Naturally.
Yup. Yeah.
Not the
These are the
thousands
things.
of dollars of damages and the assault and battery that she did on him. Unbelievable.
I gotta say, I'm impressed. He had 32 windows in his house. This is quite a
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But she's like bash. I'm like, damn.
Right.
Jeez, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, these are the kinds of things we want to bring to light,
Awesome.
PTSD and the abuse and the addiction and just kind of have conversations about it, kind of know that it's just out there and there's a lot more people than you would think that are involved with this.
Oh, for
I
sure.
feel like the way I feel also too, piggybacking off what you're saying, I feel like the one good thing about our lyrical content too is just like it's really open to interpretation. You know what I mean? So it's like you kind of take it for what you want it to take, for what you want to take it. And there is some metaphor to the lyric work. I mean, Vince is primarily the one that writes the lyrics for the most part. But we always try to keep it open, you know what I mean? Because like everybody's situation is different.
Sure.
Like speaking of Isabella, like we've had people ask us like, who the hell is Isabella? Is that your ex? Like, why are you making songs about your ex? And I'm like,
yeah, that's been one. Women will come to
Isabella's 35 people I've known in my past.
exactly. Yes, and that's the thing. But there, some women obviously obviously if it's touching you like that, then maybe that's something you might want to look at. If it's kind of
it's a story, man.
Yeah.
It's just a story.
Especially mental health in the past couple of years has just been abysmal with the lockdowns and everything, and not being able to get together, not being able to see live music.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can't happen again. I mean,
No.
that's just-
No.
But I mean, a song like Isabella if it triggers people, that's good. At least they're thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thought we have.
Oh, it makes you think from the get go. When I see a music video for the first time, and then I started yours and I leaned in. You know what I mean? There's it makes you pay attention in a different way.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
That's what kind of we're doing this for.
Well, I mean, you can hear the emotion in your music right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's authentic, and that's why like the reaLation. It's the reality of it. And I know, Matt, that was something that when we first started this, we brought Matt in. That was something that really you attached to pretty right off the bat, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like the you know, the name itself and just everything that we did, you know, once we started, you know, putting the songs together and stuff, I thought that leaving it as reaLation like that just makes more sense because of just how,
Yeah.
you know, real we are, and how raw everything we do is, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, when I first saw you guys live, the music, reeled me in. And then when I got your CD and I got it home and I listened to it, and I loved it, by the way. And then thank God you put the lyrics of each song in the album. And I hung on to words on every song because every song has some sort of meaning or,
Fred, you hit mute, buddy.
how's that? Is that better?
There we go.
There you go.
I had to take the microphone off. I must have been echoing. So, what I was just trying to say though is every song on here, the 5 songs, each and every
You're
one of
echoing
them.
worse, Fred. Sorry.
I don't know what to do here. Well, somebody pick it up. I'll try to figure this out.
All right.
So you guys are from the Albany, New York area?
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
Right on.
Coming
Yeah, I
from
grew
you
up.
live.
Nice. I grew up in down in the Catskills, a little town called Roscoe, sort of like between about 60 miles east of Binghamton down there.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, down the
definitely.
middle
Right
of
off
nowhere.
I-88, right?
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
actually well, it used to be 17. I guess it's 86 now. I'm told. I've been down here in the South for about 20 something years. So
Oh, all right. Yeah. Where in the
yeah.
South are you?
I'm in Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it still 100 degrees down there right now?
It's a little less, but not, I think we had about 86. So it's you got to put a coat on now.
Yeah. I have family in Boca Raton, Florida, and if it gets like below 60,
Yeah,
you
right on.
see them with their coats on and gloves,
Oh, dude, it's
which is
weird.
fucking ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, when me and Jason went down there for college, it's 50 degrees out and we're in t-shirts and shorts and everyone's in winter coat. We're like,
yeah, with gloves on, for Christ's sake.
Right.
Come on,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah, you'll see them. I mean, granted, everybody there is like 80, but still, I mean,
Right. So,
but,
how'd you guys all get together? What's the story with the formation of the band?
well, interestingly enough, I met Matt through actually another member of this band that is no longer with us. He connected Matt and I, and Matt's like, I got this great guitar player. He's very unique and innovative, and Steve started playing with us. We actually started playing covers together. We actually have another project that does that. That does like 90s and 2000 covers that we started. And honestly, for us, the lockdown was probably one of the greatest things that happened because we were able to sit with no shows. And we're like, well, we've been wanting to write these songs, so we actually were able to have the time to do it. And we got together, and just What Lies Beneath came out, and that's kind of how this all happened, right?
Yeah, just like because you and Matt were already in the band, and even at that time, the music was completely different from what we were doing
Completely.
now. Right. You know what I mean? Like, just the influence was completely different. And prior to all of that, me and Matt had a project because this is before I even met Vince. So we already had a project, and it was more towards like more post-hardcore, more alternative, a little on the heavy side. And I come in, and I think we had met you. You guys were just in the middle of recording in the studio. That's when I met him. So not that much far after, I joined the band, and we were playing all these tunes and stuff like that. And then just over time, these new influences started coming into the band. We started like letting a little bit more loose of what like we grew up listening to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the music started changing. The lyrics started changing. Everything, just the whole vibe of the music started changing. And we had some rough drafts, but like Vince said, we were just kind of doing like the cover gig for a while. And then when the lockdown happened, we're like, well, okay, well, we have these ideas. Let's just fucking do something with it.
Yeah.
And then we just roll with it. Like, I mean, ever since like the songs on What Lies Beneath, we've had those songs brewing for like how long before we even released them?
Yeah, maybe like a year or two prior, we had these ideas. We would just get together and run through them. And interestingly enough, Isabella was probably the first one we wrote together.
Yep.
And am I right about that?
Yeah, right in the middle of lockdown.
Right. Yeah. And I still remember it because I would come over here to the studio, and then I would drive home, and there'd be nobody on the road, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, and then that allowed us the opportunity to do it, and then we realized how well this worked. And again, just like any relationship, it works or it doesn't.
Right.
And
Right.
the three of us work really well, and we just, we tried to bring other people in. We've done it, and it just, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, and in today's climate too, it's got to be hard just to break out to play your own music because a lot of smaller venues, bars and stuff where people break in, they don't hire people to do the original music. They want to hear the cover songs.
Yeah.
They do.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we've been helped with Pavement. They've been fantastic with that. We've also, we write other sorts of stuff too for sync licensing. So there's been other avenues for us as well. So we are able to keep creative, which is
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
another thing too. Like, not to stray too much from the subject, but piggybacking from when we even started working on the new songs, we
Yeah.
were trying to figure out, okay, well, we're how are we going to record these songs? And we just said, let's just fucking do it in house. Like, I engineer pretty much all of our music.
Yeah.
So we said, let's just do it in house. Let's save the money because we had gone to a studio to work on a song that we had for the longest time, and we really just didn't get the results we wanted. You know what I
Right.
mean? It didn't really get this. Like, you know how you hear a sound in your head? It's almost like
Yep.
you hear a final mix in your head, and it's
Yeah.
not translating. So we just said, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do it ourselves. You know what I mean? Let's just do
Yeah.
this shit ourselves. And the whole record for What Lies Beneath was engineered right here in this room.
Yeah, like
Nice.
when I was in a band and I'd write a song, I could hear the entire thing finished in my head,
Yeah.
trying to explain, and I don't know how to write music, so
so you understand. But once you have the sound in your head and you're not getting that,
yeah,
it's
man,
like
it drives you
there's nothing
crazy.
you can do. So so we're very intrinsically in this at this point. where
Yeah.
this is, like everything's here, and we record here. We'll jam out some stuff, but we've been pretty good about streamlining this. I would
Yeah,
say.
I think we're blessed. Like not only with great chemistry, we're just extremely resourceful as a band. Because
Yeah.
other than us playing our instruments, writing songs, like we handle a lot of other things, other jobs that come into play to get this kind of going. Vince
Right.
handles a lot of the booking, a lot of the conversations, a lot of the negotiating. I handle production, engineering, video content. Matt will handle social media and stuff like that. So we kind of split the load. And I think that's important in a lot of bands because that's one thing that's easy to overlook. Like, yeah, you could be a great musician, but what else can you do to get this going? Because
Yeah,
it's ultimately a product.
And
Yeah, you got to wear all the hats. You know what I mean?
You really have to, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you build it to a point, then you can start bringing team in. But until then,
Right.
you're on your own with this. So
Mhm.
that's kind of how
Absolutely.
we roll this in. So
Sure.
Yeah, and a lot of bands, we've talked about this frequently when we have artists on. It's like some bands can't do what you're doing and producers self-produce and have results because sometimes they just keep on going and keep it. Like I'm a writer, Fred's a writer. At some point, it's done. No
Yep.
matter-
you have to do that.
Yeah,
Because you can get on the roller coaster of that, which is,
the abyss.
it's hellish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we've
Does
all
this
been
suck?
there.
Is it good enough?
right.
Right, and then you
Yeah.
can always do a little something to it, and then you wind up, just in a cycle of that.
I always end up being the medium to say, I think this is good the way it is.
Yeah,
And because the thing is, the one benefit is like, and you can ask them, like they'll listen to the songs. I've sat down for hours listening to the same shit, mixing it. Once we record the song, I don't listen to any of our songs at all.
Right.
At all. After
Right.
I've recorded them and they're done, mixed and mastered, I don't listen to any of them.
Right.
Only because if I have to go back, I need to hear it with fresh ears.
Fresh
You know what I
ears,
mean?
Oh, for
And
sure.
it's easy to get option paralysis when you're
Mhm.
mixing and doing all this extra stuff, thinking that
Yep.
this one little notch is going to make a difference. Sometimes
Yeah.
you just got to step back and say it's done.
Right.
Yeah, analysis paralysis is exactly it. I mean, because again, you get in that cycle where we've all been there.
Mhm.
It's like it would drive you crazy. So at some point, you need this. This is it. This is what we're going to go with, and be happy with it. And we are. We're very happy with it, performance wise and everything. Is this song presenting the right emotion? You know, has it got the right motif? Are we presenting? Is the protagonist authentic? These are the kinds of things we think about when we're writing something. You know, can you feel a song and make sure that it's delivering the message it's supposed to? And that's really, when you get there, that's really what it comes down to.
That's the chemistry, man. It's literally the chemistry. Like the one thing that I love about like how we do things is that in bands, especially if you're younger, you know, there's always like that ego thing. You know, I mean, who gets to do this the most? Who gets to play this? Oh, this is my part. There's been literally instances where I'll create like a rough draft of a song and I'll just lay some bullshit ass bass part.
Right.
Vince is the bass player. It's just to get the idea going.
Right. Sure.
Vince will say, that's it. That's the part. What the fuck? Why the fuck am I going to fuck with that? It sounds great. We all have an understanding. If it sounds good, it doesn't fucking matter who did what, as long as the song is served, as long as it sounds good. And we do this all across the board. Like even Matt will have input on vocals. When I'm doing vocals, the guys are there and they'll say like, hey, why don't you try doing it like this or try wording it like that? Like we're all very hands-on the writing.
Yeah, a lot of people can't take constructive criticism, and like coming from filmmaking and everything else and writing books, and it's like people might be afraid to say something like, "No, don't be." If it makes it better, I want to be the first.
Yeah. It's the product is the God here. You know, the end product is the God. So we serve that. If it's better for that, then that's what we do. You know,
and there's always going to be disagreements. It's not always sweet, but when there is a disagreement, there's a compromise. We all know how to just cut it right down the middle. Okay, well, let's do that, but let's just attack it differently, whatever the case may be.
Right.
So hopefully my
that's
echo's still there. Or is it okay now?
It's still there.
Some echo?
It's better though.
Yeah, it's better.
All right. I don't know what to do, but anyway, I love bands that have. It's kind of annoying, isn't it?
I don't hear an echo.
I don't.
Okay. I love bands that have two vocalists like you guys do. My question is, most of your songs, you're both singing. How do you formulate who does what lines and who jumps in at what point? How do you formulate that?
We don't.
That kind of.
It's okay. So
it's pretty organic.
It is, and this is like not in some bragging thing, but like half the time, and I kid you not, we're here, we play the song, and we just start mumbling shit to each other. Vince will have lyrics, and I'll try to come up with some kind of cadence, and then we'll just lay it down, and it just starts morphing over time. And the benefit of how we do things, for the most part, is we kind of write as we record. We like to get an arrangement like in real time and see where the song can go. You know, we do jam. You know what I mean? We have a rehearsal space where we jam, but like when we write, for the most part, everything is like kind of like on the spot. So sometimes we wind up in situations where, for example, one of the songs in What Lies Beneath, the song Not Meant for Me, was a song that initially I was supposed to sing on. And I think we were recording it and I just felt it. I'm like, Vince, this is not my song. This is all you, brother. I don't know. I'm not feeling this one. And it's just it's a thing where you got to recognize, like,
sure,
you know, we just sometimes it's just you're just not the right sound for that specific song, and we're okay saying, hey man, take that part over. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and you know, again, lyrically, sometimes I'll have a full piece and I'll bring it in. Other times I'll have pieces. You know, how we write that way, it's pretty organic. And I know, Fred, I mentioned this to you. We kind of joke around about it. We're like the alternative metal Air Supply. You know, that's kind of the way we kind of always thought of ourselves, which is hilarious to us. But, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like how we do it. And yeah, it's just pretty organic how it actually happens.
It's just a good level of compromise. Like Vince said, he'll have full pieces and I'll try to sing. And I'm like, Vince, this is a lot of words, bro. We got to cut at least one or two out of this line, but still make it mean something. Right. You know, so we'll do that. So we just find that compromise. Okay, well, this is a very long word. So let's cut it and replace it with a word that means the same thing and still get the same message across. And we just bounce ideas back and forth. And a lot of our songs are like that, kind of like in the moment.
Yeah, we don't really know how the hell it happens, quite honestly. It just does.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I've
the
never.
magic of
We
music.
don't make these decisions. They just.
Yeah,
It
I
happens.
use the word, and Isabella plundered. I've never used that word in my life. I had to look it up. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Make sure it worked, and it did. So I was like, okay, well, that's obviously not me. I mean, it's channeled in or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting, and we've got a new release coming up.
Yeah.
You know, so that should be out next month. We're
Nice.
90% of the way there, and we'll send that off to you guys, and
Awesome.
love to get your
Absolutely.
feedback on it. You know,
Yeah.
it's called Revealed, and it's a little more, believe it or not, a little more proggy. We would say, right?
Yeah.
It's got a little more, but it's still kind of like it's still got those hooks that we
Nice.
kind
It's,
of
it
love.
still has that, we don't
The
we don't
reaLation
stray
sound.
we don't stray too far. We try to keep it simple. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? We got to do this shit live, man. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Right.
Exactly.
Well, you guys label yourselves as concept-based grunge alternative, and I didn't feel any of that with your EP. I got just more hard rocking out of it. Would you kind of agree with that? I mean, where'd the grunge alternative come from?
Well, I would say we're definitely, the songs have concept to them. I would say more along the lines of alternative metal, because we kind of always thought we were more like a little more Deftones, Perfect Circle, Tool kind of a thing,
Yeah.
because of how the dynamic play they have with that.
Yeah.
So we kind of pride ourselves on being able to set dynamic in a song. That's kind of where we were thinking about it. But again, it's open to interpretation. And
Sure.
for us to in our initial marketing to the audiences we just felt it was best to kind of get a group of bands that we kind of sounded like, so we could present it to them and have them receive it well. So
Right.
it's always up to interpretation. And album to album, it's going to change a little bit.
Yeah, like when me and Jason started doing tunage, we started finding, because we were on the search for new music, and a lot of stuff fell behind. You have family starts, all this stuff. You're not doing this, you're not doing that. So we wound up doing. We noticed, we're like, wow, all this new great music is power trios.
Yeah.
Like, it's undeniable. There's I'm sure some of it somewhere has to do with costs of touring and everything and economics, but also the economics of you can get more done with 3 band members than 7.
Less hands in the pot, man.
Yeah,
Less hands in the pot.
Yeah,
You know?
and also all those conflicting, issues and
Right.
We've never been opposed to even having the thought of an idea for a 4th member or another guitar player to help comp some of the music that we play, because it is rather layered. There's a lot of layers going on there.
Yeah.
And it's been always like a thing, like we're not like against, but it's just like it's like I said, it's like one of those things where it's like a chemistry thing, and sometimes like you just got to find the guy that wants to be a part of something.
Right.
You know what I mean? We don't just want you to be the hired gun, bro. Like we want, somebody that can share that same goal with us, and that's kind of hard to come by, especially with people, jobs, responsibilities. Some have families and stuff like that, so it's not always easy, but yeah, like it's I feel like we do pretty good for a 3-piece.
Yeah.
I love trios, man.
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
Yeah,
Rush,
there's a lot.
Triumph.
yeah, I mean, you can tie, Christ, Cream.
Oh, yeah.
Power trio.
Right.
Every time someone says that term, I think of Cream, because I think of
Right.
Yeah.
ZZ Top.
Yeah, exactly. Nirvana, if you want to talk something newer,
Sure.
Right.
Bands that were able to really be very successful that way. And we circumvent that by, allowing our audiences to see the full show with the backtrack and the video and that, so that's helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a chemistry thing though, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So how long did it take you guys to prep like the video portion of your shows? Like whatever you got going on.
Well, and we do have essentially what it is like we do have video of just like our logo doing with some flashing images along with the music, and it's all synced up. For the Invade show, fortunately, we couldn't, because there is a wall of marshals in the back. So,
Right.
Yeah.
but we have like a pretty streamlined setup for like our performances, because once we hit the space bar on that laptop, we're on for 30 minutes nonstop.
Yeah.
So we have to be like right on cue. But for the most part, yeah, it's like our set right now is maybe 30 minutes long exactly.
Yeah.
So the whole thing runs for 30 minutes and that's it.
And it's just easy because we can just continue to add songs. And we were actually trying to link it. We'll get there, but linking up the video with everything. Talk about having something else involved with stress. I mean,
yeah, we don't have a crew. We just like try, like I said before, we just try to be as resourceful as possible. And I actually put that whole video together for us. So that on top of having, you know, the backing tracks and having everything queued up, it's like I'm worried about making sure that the laptop works, or wirelesses are working. Is the video going to be in sync? Well, better hope it does. Boom, we're on.
Yeah.
We'll just go.
Yeah, and then on that last tour, we had us, our roadie, and our driver. That's pretty much, we were very lean.
Bless them, because they helped
they
tremendously.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, shout out to Bailey and V. Those guys made it happen, and those guys were definitely key in this.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
No question.
Mm-hmm.
So
Matt,
you played. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Vince.
Matt, what kind of kit you playing?
I play on a DW.
Nice.
How many piece?
It's a 6-piece.
All right on.
Yep. I usually use a 5-piece live, but recording and stuff like that, I've always used a 6-piece for videos. Even I'll use a 6-piece.
Yeah.
But for convenience sake, I do a 5-piece live.
Right on. Dude, I saw this thing yesterday. You know, I picked up a drum kit about a year and a half ago after not having one for 20 years. So I'm watching this video, and it was like a travel kit, a compact. The whole kit fit in the bass drum.
It's wild. Yeah, I've seen those.
Cocktail kits, right?
Yeah, I'm like, what? That is
Not the
like the
cocktail
coolest
kit.
thing. A buddy of mine, he's got like 25 different drum kits, and he's got one that's in a suitcase.
Yeah, Matt has one of those, and we played that in Atlantic City. We were in the play show, and if you were playing, the bass drum was sticking to the bass, right?
Yeah. For some reason, my bass gear was creating so much friction that it was melting to the head. So I would have to like take my foot and pop the beater back,
Because it's a cocktail
big pain in the
kit.
ass.
Yeah, I don't think a grown man's supposed to play that, but it was hilarious. He's looking at me. He's like, "We can't fucking keep going with this. I can't. The bass isn't fucking working. I don't know." It's
Matt, that's what you
melting
call that's what you call raw horsepower.
Yeah. Yup.
Too much for the cocktail kit, man. He had to
Too
step it
much.
back just a little bit. It's not like we're playing a rock show here, bro. Like we're doing like little smooth ass covers in a small venue.
Right.
Yeah.
That was funny.
It was so frustrating. That was like an hour and a half of that, because the first half of the set went good, and then the second half it just kept sticking. Nothing I could do about it.
Right. You're trying to.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
You have to
Yeah, I was missing bass hits because I'm having to pull the beater back.
I think I remember looking through the back of the kit, and I think I saw some of like pieces of the fucking beater stuck to the head. Like it's like the plastic was just like stuck to the head.
Hey, next time just spit on it, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, I could have probably saw
Pour your beer on it.
Just like-
shit.
a little drip.
Need a little lubricant, if you will.
Right. Makes the world go round.
That's it. Yeah.
So what are you guys plans going into 2024?
Well, we're definitely going to tour on this new record. We're excited about that. We have a couple videos that are going to come out for the new record. We actually just released a lyric video for one of our singles that's off this called "Love Gets Late." I'm especially proud of this song lyrically. I feel like it's probably the most complete work I've done thus far, and you can see it's on our YouTube page. So if you search reaLation in YouTube, you can see it. Plus the kid who did it was fucking great. I mean, it really pops. But lyrically, I'm very, very pleased with that. And Steve sang it, and it's probably his best performance. I mean, it's so good.
It's my favorite song that we've ever done, and the reasons are actually a lot deeper than just like the whole song. It's there was a point that I was having issue playing guitar because I'm a diabetic, so I get like really bad neuropathy, and sometimes it feels like pins and needles in my hands.
Sure.
So couldn't really play that well. So I was like, okay, well, we still got to get a song done. We got to get something going. So let me see if I can focus more on substance rather than the tweedly diddly doos. And that song just feels like it's just so well structured because I was able to focus on that because of a limitation. So like I grew attached to it. And in my opinion, it's our best song that we've ever done. It's a little bit of a stray from what we have on that record because it's a little heavier. It's more layered. It's more melodic. Vocals kind of soar a little more. And
So you channeled Tony Iommi on guitar.
But I had my fingers, bro.
Right.
I had my fingers ready.
He missed
Yeah, man. But even writing that whole thing and playing it, because I'm playing that on a 7-string, so it's like the pain was kind of fucking excruciating. You know what I mean? So it's like I was just like, okay, well, let me take it easy and try to actually focus on writing a song that sounds great, that makes sense on a modal level where the chords are hitting right, these layers are right, and you know, it's not the most technical song. Like towards the middle, there's like a little kind of soloing, little interlude, progressive kind of thing, and then it goes into full force back to the end. But that's probably the most technical part that song has.
And I think that's cool. Out of all the interviews I heard from bands, of all the things I've read, I've never heard a song being affected writing-wise from diabetes. That's actually
yeah. It's you know, it's you kind of have to just pull through adversity, man. And it just makes things matter and be more meaningful to you. And the guys know, like I deal with that shit all the time, and we just make it work. You know what I mean? Even in days that things are not going well, show goes on no matter what.
Oh, yeah, I got shit too, brother.
Yeah, Jason's diabetic.
Yeah.
Hey,
by the way, I really dig the lead in Selfish too.
Oh,
thank you, brother.
Yeah, that's one of my faves for sure. Yeah, he did a great job with that. That was an interesting video shoot, guys. You remember that? So we tell you a little bit about that. So it was probably a 93-degree day. So I found a quarry, like a quarry that was not used for years. Yeah. So we actually just went down there. I called the town that this was in, and they're like, "Well, go ahead." They were like literally like, "Just go ahead." You know? And if anything happens, well, you're on. It's on. You know, they basically were no help. So I called the town. They were like, "Just let us know when the video's done, so we can post it on our website." Though they were no help to us. Nice. So we drive down there, and the videographer we have is very talented. But he fucked this up. And the reason he fucked us up is we're driving into this. So we're down into the quarry, and we're deep into this thing, and you can't hear anything. He brings a small speaker to play the song, the backdrop of the song. It was impossible. So we're just going on memory at this point. So we don't. I mean, Matt can barely hear it. It's right behind him. So we were just thinking about it in our head. So if you look at that video.
There's some off-sync parts in there.
There could be some, but the only reason being is that we didn't have any reference at all. Generally, it's fucking blaring, and you hear it, and you're singing to it. So Steve and I were just like, "All right, there is the part," and we just kind of, we went as best we could, and looked good. In spite of that,
no, it looked great. The result.
Than in a huge space of a quarry, and the sound just goes everywhere.
Yeah, and the thing is, like he said, it had to be a Bluetooth speaker like the size of this fucking microphone, bro. And we couldn't hear jack. And the thing is, like when you're in the drums, and Matt will tell you, you can't. For the type of song that it was, you can't just look like you're tapping on the cymbals, man. You gotta hit the shit out of those.
Right.
And you can't project. And you can't really project when you can't hear.
Right.
Yeah, and it was 1,000 fucking degrees.
It was hot as fuck too, man.
And we're dressed. I have a jacket on because we're doing that whole like crash.
Matt has a Dickies jumpsuit. These guys are drenched.
I was like, maybe we should have rethought this, or it was the sun was beaten down. It was like 2:00 in the afternoon.
For future reference, if you ever do something like that, they sell cooling vests for about $120.
That would have been a great idea, definitely. I'll tell you what. And it was weird too, as the town told us, that it was fine to go down there, we see a couple people come down that actually owned it. You know, they were like, oh.
Yeah, we see a whole bunch of people coming on ATVs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Of
what the hell's
course you
going
do.
on?
Right.
Dirt bikes?
Fucking
And I'm like, oh, what are you
cartels,
guys
like,
doing here?
They were in the end, they were really cool with it. They were like, no one told us about this. I'm like, you got to talk to the fucking town because they gave us complete, permission to do this.
But they were totally cool with it, and
Yeah.
they just let us do our thing. They actually
Nice.
enjoyed it. They were like kind of sticking around for a little bit, and then
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
right
that
on.
was that's the story behind that. But actually, the story in that, the story parts of it were done really well, and they were by not actors or actresses, people that just the videographer knew, and I thought they did a great job. Really delivered it all.
Yeah.
So
And when is that video coming out?
Selfish was actually came
it's out.
It was on
Selfish is actually out.
Okay, gotcha.
Mhm.
You said
You
you,
can
had
check it out
another video coming out.
Yes. Well, Love Gets Late, the lyric video's out, but also we're going to be doing another video for either Betrayal, one of the new songs off the record. We have yet to decide, but that'll be in the next couple of months for sure.
When you do, let us know and we'll cover it on Twitch for you.
Oh,
Sweet, man. Thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate you for that.
That's what I was asking. But yeah, you don't know these things about production until it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You learn a lot as you go along. I'll tell you that in this industry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We once had a house blow up because it rained in the middle of the desert and the generator wound up sitting in a place that became a puddle. And when they plugged it in, it created a ground loop, and we had a house rigged to blow up. And
Jeez.
he plugged it in.
Boop.
Wow.
Yeah.
There that go.
That was the director, Tony K from You Rattling Home.
Couple thousands down the drain, just like that.
Right there. Yep. Oh shit.
Yeah, you don't know until you know.
Absolutely.
But all right on. You can get your music where on your websites? You can get it
There.
Our music is out on all platforms: Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, pretty much
Music.
Apple Music, any streaming service. We also have an official YouTube channel under official reaLation.
Right. Yes, and also join us on Facebook and Instagram. It's reaLation Music. We're there. We'll post some shit tonight. For sure, we post a lot of stuff on Instagram, and you can always follow the three of us too, Vincent Lane
Mm-hmm.
and
right on. Well, it's nice to meet another Vince. There's not too
Yeah,
many.
absolutely. V, that's what I usually go by, which
Yeah.
is kind of the thing. V, there it is. Yeah,
I need to get a mug, buddy.
I know. Shit.
Gotta get a V mug.
Right.
Just don't call him Vinny. We know what happens there.
Fuck
call
yeah,
him
no
that.
Vinny for me either. No.
That shit.
Vinny's like a fat Italian kid with like meatballs, and shit, right?
Yeah. I'm a
Yeah, I'm
Bulldog. I'm not
That shit
Italian.
almost slipped once.
Yeah.
I almost slipped it once. I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit, wait a minute.
You just saw the look in my eyes of like contempt for the fucking
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, like a Bob Dylan thing, like the Illuminati thing. There it is.
Yeah, it's like not me.
Yep.
See that one coming. Not the Alice Cooper.
Yeah, he's a Vincent too, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
V gang.
V gang. That's it.
Cool.
Absolutely. So this is how long me and Jason have known each other. Look at that.
Wow.
Oh man,
Yeah.
We were a little inebriated that night.
I can feel it through that picture.
I can smell it. in
Yeah,
that picture.
But
It's like sort of honey browns or something from back then, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever was hot back then. St. Pauli girl. Which
it was
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, St. Pauli girl, right on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, St.
Where is
Paul.
that beer? That's fucking good beer. That's
Oh, I know.
You know,
Hey, I was a big Lowenbrow fan back in the day too. You know.
Lowenbrow. One of the
Oh,
first
yeah.
beers I had when I was a kid. My father had warm Lowenbrow, which actually was less awful than it sounds. But
Right.
you
That's
always get a
fantastic.
warm beer. Your first beer as a kid is a warm beer.
Oh yeah.
You're
You gotta hide
sneaking
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I
hours.
got a trivia question for you guys.
Yes.
Shoot.
What classic rock lyric references St. Pauli girl beer?
Oh shit.
Mm,
That's probably you.
I don't know.
Pretty Maids all in a row. Go on and set them up. Come on, bottoms up.
I don't know.
Pretty
I'm
Van Halen. Pretty Maids all in a row. Go on
Oh
and set 'em
shit!
up.
Yes. Okay.
Jeez.
Yeah,
DLR. That's old shit, right? Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
The
So
classic.
I know a lot of people there's a huge delineation between DLR Van Halen and
Sammy.
Hagar Van
There is.
Hagar stuff. So where do you guys fall in line with that? Is there
We actually covered. We did a discography of Van Halen, the Dave years, and then the Sammy years. We'll go take an artist and go album by album, track by track, and just collectively Van Halen, the original band, much better, in my opinion. That's what I grew up.
Yep.
But if you listen to the Sammy years all in a row, you get Listening Fatigue by album 3. And you can see the breakdown of the band
Yeah.
within, like, if you're listening to it, right? Because we have to listen to everything within a week. So it's fresh, not lying.
Yeah.
Got you. So you felt like literally it was just a replication of the same shit.
Ted
Hagar.
Templeton. No, you can just, like,
Templeton. Okay, yeah.
first record was Sammy, 5150. There was 14 songs. Next album, 12. Next album, 10. Next album, 9.
Right.
Yeah.
Got you. Yep.
And it was like, okay, instrumentals. We're gonna throw a cover in here. It really wasn't a lot going on. Eddie had some issues,
Yep.
Yeah.
and that's something. And plus, he's a genius, and he had that whole thing going on. So I get it, but
I read excerpts of Sammy Hagar's book where he was basically talking about his time in Van Halen, where he's like, these two are just, full-fledged, all-day alcoholics. They always have a beer for each other, and they would get in fucking fights.
right.
And then you'd have to wait it out between the brothers. I'm like, he's like, I can't work like this. Sammy Hagar coming from a band he led, where he was the man.
Yeah.
Coming into that project must have been difficult for him.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Where you're not
And
the
all
guy.
the criticism he got,
Oh yeah, I mean,
I don't ever think there's like a middle ground. Either you like the Sammy days or you like the DLR days.
They could have just not had any of them. They changed the name of the band. It just would have made sense, but marketing's probably like, no, we got.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I almost feel like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like I felt like later down the line, certain things just started sounding a little different in terms of like instrumentation. Like even even when David Lee Roth was in the band, like this is a hot take. I'm just not a fan of David Lee Roth's vocals. That's just a hot take. I prefer Sammy Hagar's vocals, but I like the music then. Like I'm the One is one of my favorite songs. Top-notch song and very underrated song from that whole record, in my opinion.
I wonder with David Lee Roth, because I heard it, like his solo stuff, with the layering of the vocals sound fucking great to me. Like that first record, like how much did they really crimp his style and say, you can do this, you can do that? I wonder a lot about that with
Well, here's my
Van
point
Halen.
exactly. Is David Lee Roth started producing.
Yeah.
In that first David Lee Roth album, the EP and the first album, Meaning Smile, Ted Templeman was producing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the vocal work on that, I mean, just like Living in Paradise, that single they had, vocal work's fucking great in that. I mean, at the end, it sounds really good to me. And it's like, well, where was this Van Halen? I mean, so it only comes, my thought is only because they didn't allow him to do that sort of thing. They put him in a box, and this is what you're going to do. You're going to play like the straight man almost, to the like we're going to, the jokester or whatever it happened to be.
Yeah.
So
Van Halen was, part Zeppelin, part Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, look what they did to a great bass player too, who sang great high harmony. I mean, so obviously this is all about, Alex and Eddie. So this is their band. They pretty much ran it ragged, and
Right.
you lose great people that way.
Yeah, and also without that, dysfunction, we wouldn't have had all that great music. You know?
Very true.
It's like that sometimes.
Major component.
You gotta have a little bit of chaos. You know what I mean?
And what made Van Halen different than everyone else in Aerosmith, all those guys were blues based via England. And I've talked about this a bunch of times before. Everyone was, Cream and, all the bands that were Stones that were doing the blues from America to England. And Van Halen was a rock group of jazz. And that's what made them different. All their sensibilities were boogie woogie and
Yeah.
Alex
It
Van
just
Halen is one of the most underrated drummers in the world.
Yeah, just like it was just sonically different. Like nothing was sounding like that at that time.
Right.
The Brown sound wasn't even a thing at that time. And then you hear a guitar like that, and you don't even know what the hell's going on. You don't even know how that's even happening.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, I remember hearing like Eddie for the first. I literally did a video breaking down his tone, like how to get the Brown sound on this plugin that I have. And like it's a sound that like a lot of guitar players are infatuated with. You know what I mean? Like still to this day, you have people that are rocking 5150s and they're proud to own their block letters, and you know what I mean? It's just all this stuff, and there's like a culture behind it now. Like it's
I knew one word on guitar, and I read an interview that he boiled the strings. So I went out and got strings and was boiling them. Like everyone tried that. Whatever could have been totally someone coming out of their ass. Right. Like, oh, I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, someone's fucking with the
boiling
strings, right?
Nah, he definitely changed guitar. He really did. Not even from like just the playing perspective. Just at that time, guitars like that weren't being made.
Nope,
didn't exist. You know what I mean? So
I saw Eddie. I saw a clip backstage back in the day playing through a little 10-watt practice amp. Still sounded like Eddie.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's in his hand. Most of it was in his hands.
Well, that's what he did. He played through that small amp and the mic.
Yeah, that guy was obsessed with tone, bro. He even had that one thing where it's back when he had when he was using Marshall. He had this freaking voltage regulator, the Variac. And so it was like they were modding the shit out of.
Yeah, well, Jose Arredondo modded all his Marshalls back in the day. They go for stupid money now.
I have a 5150 Signature, a 1995, and I've seen the prices on Reverb on those amps, and they're scalping the shit out of those. Yeah. An amp that used to cost you like $700 is now going for like damn near $4,000.
Yeah, like $4,800. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Wild.
Yep. All right, guys.
Well, right on. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for coming on. Matt, thank you very much. Vince, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having us.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'll cover your video when it comes out. Anytime you got something to promote, you're more than welcome. You're part of the Pod family now, so we're going to stock the rest of your careers.
Good. Thank you.
Fred, got anything, brother?
No, it was great to see you guys a couple weeks ago, and I'm so glad we finally made this happen because Vince and I were going back and forth for a couple weeks to try to schedule this. We finally did, so I'm so glad we did. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you guys again somewhere down the line, hopefully very soon.
Yeah, well, when we come out to Chicago way, we love going out there. We'll let you know and come on back and hang out with us and.
Oh, hell yeah.
Drinks and all
yeah,
that.
you got my email address, so you know anything that's help you promote, just shoot it our way and we'll be glad to put it on for you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Dude, I just got tickets for Ringo.
No shit.
Really?
Chicago Theater, October 5th. I'm stoked.
Is who's playing with them? Frampton and Rundgren, or I know that Frampton was playing.
I think
with
Lukather's with them.
Yeah, Steve Lukather plays guitar.
Really?
Oh my God.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Steve Lukather is he's a goated guitar player, bro.
Yeah. Whoever he has, all legends.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He's got it right. He created a career that way. God.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
Sinking through them like the expenses and costs, and Chicago Theater. What's like 5,000 people, Fred?
Yeah. Yep.
He's probably just breaking even. He's just doing this for fun.
He doesn't. Yeah, he's living off the royalty of everything.
Yeah.
Doing shit.
working out the numbers. I'm like, wait a minute, he's, you know, but
Except for Beat It.
Yeah.
Except for Beat It.
right. But
Yeah.
all right, everyone. Thank you very much. We'll see
Thank
you
you,
next
guys.
Check
Thanks,
it
guys.
out.
Good. Thank you all so much. Have a good evening.
Take care.
You too.
Best of luck.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Alrighty, and that was this edition of CreatiVity Talking. Jason, my brother, love you. Fred, love
Love
you.
you guys.
And
Love you
we'll see
guys.
you guys next time. Horns up.